I've lived in my head more than I've lived in real life, I think. I think the things that I imagine, the things I dream of doing, are always better than the things that I have done and the things that I am doing. I spend the vast majority of my time at work wishing I was somewhere else. I spend the vast majority of time dreaming about other things that I wish I could be doing instead of what I'm doing right now. And that's always been a driving force for me. I've never just been one to think about things, I've always tried to take action on them. I remember when I was in engineering school, like 8 years ago now, I was about to graduate and become an electronics engineer. Yay. So miserable. That kind of work sucked, man. Like, I didn't like it at all. And it was around that time that I discovered Gary Vee and the idea of making money online. And I became obsessed with, the future and these things that I could do. Living on my own, moving around, traveling, making art as much as I want, making lots of money, not being poor. I've always felt poor. I've never felt that I always felt like I had to be very careful with money. And that was a primary motivator for me to try to like be an entrepreneur and start my own business. And, it's interesting. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it does weigh on you when everything that you dream about and think about is so far away and doesn't happen for almost a decade. You start to wonder if it ever will happen. And in the meantime, you keep dreaming and imagining and having, I have these awesome, daydreams and imaginations. I mean, I have a very vivid imagination where I can write stories and things. And that kind of keeps you occupied. And I think I've done more exciting things in my mind than I have in real life. And I think my plan going forward is to just not stop myself as much and push forward even more. A lot of times, one of the reasons that I'm like this is because I have ADHD, my mind is so fast and it moves so quickly that the normal life almost seems incredibly boring. And once I got my diagnosis earlier this year, I started to realize that I could make some of the dreams real if I stopped living too far into the future and start living in the process of making the dreams. Hence, you see, some actual art behind me. I'm actually working on my YouTube channel. And I think that's where, if you're stuck in this space of like I was and still am of living in your head and doing more exciting things in your own mind than in your real life, one of the things to do is to not wait for permission, is to start living through the process. And the best way to do that is to give up on the end result and instead just embrace the journey. Because the truth is, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. But what I can do right now is begin the process of doing the thing that could get me the results that I want. And that's why I have this YouTube channel. And I have a couple other ones. Some of them are actually doing quite well and getting bigger. And so it hasn't all been for nothing. And I think that's the most important thing for me is someone with ADHD with a very, very active mind is give up on the end result and start embracing the process and finding ways to make the journey fun and to give yourself permission to not stay in a box and to not do things on other people's timelines. You don't have to do things in the same order, in the same way that other people say that you have to. And once I figured this out, I was able to actually start living more in the real world. not to the extent of what's in my mind, because I can always imagine, these greater and better things, and I think that's part of like being human. But not being afraid to live now for the sake of the future, but actually in the journey to the future, I can live now if I understand my mind and embrace the fact that I have ADHD and it's okay to have a chaotic mind. It's okay to hop from one hobby to another as long as you find a way to make it work for you. And if that's something you need help with, I've been basically working against my ADHD for the past 10, like my entire life, 29 years, without knowing I had ADHD. And I've learned a lot of tips and tricks on discipline and scheduling. So I made a free community for you guys. It's linked in the description. It's completely free to join, and all of the courses and classes that I'm ever going to teach are free as well, because in the age of AI, there's no point in charging for information. So everything I know about being disciplined and taking your dreams from the future and trying to manifest them here now in reality, that's all just going to be given to you guys for free. And so if you're kind of connecting with the vibe of this video and what I'm saying so far, it's completely free to join. Check it out. I'd love to have you there. I'll send you a quick text and say hello. And then I'm most active there too, so you could text me, tell me your experience and what it's like for you to, live in the future instead of now. And that's the interesting dichotomy that I've always had, is sacrificing certain things now for the future. And you all, if you have ambitious goals like I do, to build a massive podcast, be a successful YouTuber, make lots of money, there are things you have to sacrifice, right? Like you can't drink every night, you can't go party with your friends all the time, you can't have infinite hobbies and just laze around and do whatever. No, you have to work. But I think there's something interesting to be said for finding that middle ground where you're working hard to pull the future towards you, but you are experiencing real life now. Like you're not putting your life on hold. You're actually living your life now. You've just chosen to live it in such a way that it pursues a certain goal. And that's one of the things that I really want to keep pursuing and talking about on this channel, is how do you, when you're, as an up and coming entrepreneur who you work 40 hours a week and then you come home and you work on your business and you go to the gym, you almost have you're always exhausted, you have no time. How do you live now while sacrificing so many things for the future? What does that look like? And the interesting thing for me is I think it's more psychological than physical, because all of the chemicals required to make you feel happy and fulfilled already exist up here in your head. They're there. They're just not active right now. What if you didn't need the external world to give you permission to activate those chemicals? What if you could make all of the sacrifices necessary to achieve your goals and still feel truly alive? Because you've divorced the external world from how you feel inside, and you've taken that control for yourself. Those are my thoughts. Anyways, guys, if you vibe with this, hit the link in the description, and I'll probably make a part 2 of this video. This is going to be an ongoing discussion. This is the life of John, this channel, and yeah, that's it. Subscribe. Why don't you? Let's get to 1,000 subs and make some money, man. I want to move out of my parents' basement. Tinfoil on the windows. I mean, even if I was rich, I'd still put tinfoil on the windows. It keeps the sun out great. It's brilliant. Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Subscribe for the next one. You can check out another one right here, more about nihilism. My journey into a sort of pseudo nihilistic view right here. So yeah.